how you doing? This is Cassandra Williams from Educational Innovation 360. Today I'm going to have a coaching conversation, 15-minute snippets of information that hopefully will help you navigate this political climate. So that is our topic for today. So our topic for today is navigating the political climate of being an instructional coach in K-12 education. So we all have to do that. But before I tell you that, let's talk about our sponsor. Our sponsor is Woods Yoga for Everybody. Woods is a wonderful company that sponsored this segment for today. All right, so what does it mean to navigate the political climate in instructional coaching? So we know that you're not only listening to the principal, whoever your direct instruct is, sometimes you're working with teachers. So it's different people that you kind of have to navigate that political climate. So I want to talk about some of those things and really thinking about what does the job entail and how do you move forward with that. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. So really understand the role. Day one, you need to understand what is your role, who do you have to report to? What does that report look like? How do you document success? Because in this role, although it is kind of stated that's how you document success, you know, you have to look at it and identify it in writing to make sure that is the case. So make sure these three things is structured collaboration. We know that we are not only working like trying to figure out who do we have to support, but we're also trying to understand what is the goal, how do we keep people on that role and that path, and then how do we sustain success. And then having a strategic approach, really looking at what are our teaching strategies, and then how do you make sure you get people to that goal. And last but not least, what are our measurable goals, like SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, like results-oriented and time reflective. What are we doing to make sure that we stay focused, we stay true to the standard and objective, and we are able to assess student learning and student growth. So being able to identify all those pieces when you are working as a coach. We know coaching has grown. Coaching has grown over time, especially since the pandemic. You're seeing a 59% increase in coaching, instructional coaches at schools. Some coaches have maybe one, some have two, a reading and math, and some have multiple depending on the content and how many teachers that they need to serve. So really understand that coaching, instructional coaching is a valuable role, but remember also you have to always identify how you can prove your worth. Okay, so let's go ahead and go on to number one. Our leadership dynamics is where we have to really worry about like that political climate. Are we successfully collaborating with our teachers, and what does that look like? I remember I was at one school really in the train the trainer model working with this coach, and she said every time I go into these three teachers' classrooms, they go to the union on me, right? So really being able to have that conversation with your leader so he can continuously advocate for what is your role and how will you effectively support the school, and him continuing to be that cheerleader for you. That is so crucial. Autonomy and balance. So really being able to have guidance, understand what our focus is for the year in talking with whoever your person that's evaluating you, right? What is our focus for the year? And then really having the independence to be able to show the data that proves we are making gains in our focus. Like having that conversation at the beginning of the year is crucial, right? I like to tell all of my coaches, you have to have that lens. So you're walking in with the principal, but you need to align your lenses to identify based on this standard. If we're doing reading as our focus, what are the things that we're looking for? What are we, and what is the evidence that we're willing to accept? Because once you align your lenses with your administrator, you will start having the same conversation. You will start using the same language. And even in professional development, he will understand, you will understand where you guys are coming from. Okay. And stable leadership. Coaching has been very difficult to, in events and spaces that have a continuous turnover. So remember, again, having those personal relationships with your principal, because you're not only coaching the teachers, you're also coaching the principal in certain aspects of content and curriculum. So having a stable relationship, a leadership role is very important. Make sure you have that relationship, but you also have the trust with your teachers to build that foundation. So hopefully that is very helpful. Okay. Policy, implement changes. So we are advocates of what we see and advocating for things that need to change, like thinking about what our policies, what are our new curricula. So one of the schools that I was working with, one of the concerns was, is it okay for us not to use the same curriculum? And so we were talking about that, and with the leadership and administration. And the thing is, like, how can we vertically and horizontally align? How can we ensure that every student is getting exactly what they need when we're not even using the same type of documents, the same type of curriculum? So really thinking about that. What are the policies that you have in place at your school? So we can at least have data that's congruent across the school system. So thinking about what are the mandates that we need to put in place at our school. Controversial content. So one of the things that we tend to pride ourselves on is the content that we implement in our schools, but that can be controversial. Really understanding your principal in that role and teachers in that role to be able to kind of navigate that. One of the things that my teachers that we coach is like, if you can, justify the why and be able to bring up data and support your evidence on how effective it is, then we're all for it, right? But really being able to stay and navigate that role has been sometimes a political challenge for our instructional coaches. All right, and staff resistance is the number 3 thing. So with staff, you have to make sure that you see them day one. One of the things I like to tell my coaches is go in there day one. Day one, you're in everybody's classroom. I'm talking about from the orchestra teacher to the STEM, to the math, ELA, science, whatever, gym. Day one, how can I help you? How can I best support you? Now, granted, you're not going to take on all these people as a coaching role, but you are going to be present and you are going to support them in any type of capacity. The worst thing is when you don't meet the needs of a lot of your teachers and they feel like, wow, she can see this person, but she can't even come by and see kind of the cool things that I'm doing. So day one, even though you are not going to be able to serve all people, like this is if you're a face-to-face coach, go into everybody's classroom, make sure you have a checklist, check it off and say, hey, I just wanted to come and see how can I help? What is your goals for the year? What are some things you're excited about? Tell me about your family. Get to know people and make sure when you leave, of course, you jot down some of the things. So next time you see them, you can bring those things up, but really being able to not have staff resistance as a barrier to you going in. So they already know you are going to come in the classroom, so they don't think that you're kind of out to get them because they've already built trust with you. So really looking into all of those policy pieces. So relationships and coaching are crucial. If you don't have trust, it's out. Let me tell you, I was working with a coach at a middle school, and we were working with the principal and the coach. And one of the concerns that I had is he asked her to fill in for the assistant principal. So we know that's a big red flag, but sometimes our principals don't know, right? Sometimes we got to support our principals and say, hey, once she has played that role, it's hard for the teachers to see her in any other type of role, like any type of supportive role, because now she's crossed that line from I'm the coach, I'm here to build trust. Now she's crossed that line to I'm your administrator, I'm walking the halls, I'm sweeping the halls, and this is my expectation for you as a leader. So really being able to protect, as principals, protect your coaches to be able to build trust and so they can walk that line of I'm here for the teachers to build trust. So with a coach, it's important to establish trust, build those relationships with teachers. Like I said, day one, provide ongoing support, resources, do the research for teachers. Even if you can't help the STEM or that's not your background expertise, do the research and to help them with any components they want, be their cheerleader without judgment. I think that is crucial, without judgment. I had a situation where the coach was not putting on her poker face and that was causing friction with the teachers when the teachers would bring up certain situations. So make sure you can have your poker face, and because you don't want that to be a political barrier for you to not be able to build trust with that teacher. So continues to foster growth and work with teacher encouragement, cheerlead, collaborate with your teachers and alongside with parents. There was a time when a school, we had to have a coach there to really build that partnership, to help support the teacher in that conversation with the parent. So really thinking about doing everything is necessary to support them. All right. I know I'm at 10 minutes. I got 3 more minutes to go. Here we go. Just trying to navigate these strategies, understand your clear role. What is your role? And be able to define that, continue to build relationships, be aware of your policies and procedures so you can kind of help teachers navigate that. And then continuous learning. Advocate for yourself to go on PD, to go learn from the greats like Jim Knight, for Aguilar. So really thinking about what is the PD that you need to have in place, right? So always advocate for yourself, professional development, always continue learning, because that is what we do. We are a lifelong learner. Focus areas, big on communication, thinking about what are your presentations. I was working with a coach, and the concerns that I had was, you pride yourself on talking about how do we, of course, direct instruction is important, but what are some various ways we can support student learning? And so if you say that, then you need to model that in everything you do. So if you're providing professional development, don't just stand and expect them to sit and get. Be really creative and think about ways that you could do so they can model. So when you're working with that, what is your communication skills? Are you able to model the behavior you want to see in the classrooms? Are you politically savvy to where you can understand the dynamics from the principal and maybe your evaluator and maybe your teachers? And then can you solve conflicts? Like if you identify an area of concern, can you move forward and support the people that are having conflict in as a mediator in that sort? Okay. Key takeaways. If you want to learn more, definitely DM me and put coach in my LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever. Put coach, and then I will reach out. We can schedule an appointment and definitely talk about some other ways you can be a more effective coach. But our key takeaways here. We know coaching is an expanding role. We know not only do we have to coach teachers, but then the leadership and administrators just get on the same page. It will continue to grow. You, of course, will continue to learn as well. Try to navigate the political climate. The goal is to build trust with all your teachers, be relationship focused, understand that there's a fine line. And then once you kind of lose the trust from your teachers, then that is that's the struggle. That is where it breaks down. It takes so long to build that trust, and then continues development, continue honing on your craft, honing on your skill, and getting better with time, because we're like fine wine, let me just say. All right, that's it. Again, thank Woods for supporting this segment. Again, next week will be next week will be student learning and growth through the lens of coaching. Hopefully that helps. I think I did in 13 minutes. I am winning. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope you'll be able to use some of these things in your coaching trajectory. All right, talk to you later. Bye.